Where were you? You were well off the camera.
I was like right here. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Get back, woman. Get back.
It's because I brought my computer closer to me, and then it just suddenly went down. So I'm going to be putting it up. Welcome.
That's how close I need to get
Hi,
to match you. No, I'm going to sit back in my chair.
I'm gonna be like having a really intimate show today. Hello, everybody. It's nice to meet you. It's nice to see you. Welcome to Unsung Heroes. I have decided that today would be a calm day because I've had one of those weeks where nothing is calm. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of our community. Please like, slightly fondle, press, subscribe, follow, whatever you want to do, just do it. And we'll be happy to accompany you on this journey. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
My name is Cynthia Virgon. How are you doing?
I know your name and you're creeping me out.
I know. Don't I sound like a psycho? I should sound like a psycho. Because right now, I feel like a psycho. Really.
You've always been a psycho.
Yeah, I know. All right, so I'm going to lift up my computer now if I can. So bear with me.
It's not that heavy.
It is, actually.
Worse.
That heavy. How are you doing, Chris?
Oh, I've had one of those weeks as well, but we won't go too far into it. I just I know I'm supposed to have a shower thought, but there's like one thing that's been on my mind for the last 2 days, and so I've flown twice in the last 2 days, and I still cannot comprehend how. Oh, hi, Babs.
Hi, David.
He's at work. He must have come out for a break. So every adult that has been to a foreign country has likely flown. Now, I do understand that sometimes it's a stressful experience and it might be people's first time. But once you've got your passport and a passport in your hand with your boarding pass, you've dropped your bags and you're all checked in. Why don't people understand how security works? What? I don't understand the people that go and put their bag down and you've got someone in the baggage, in that security hall, barking at you in four or five different languages. Take your laptops and your iPads out of your bags. The amount of people that don't staggers me. And then they ask you before you walk through the metal detector, have you emptied your pockets? And they go, yes. Now, I don't mind a person that has the odd coin that sets it off. I have no problem with that because everyone makes a little mistake and I've been known to do it too. But when you've got a big ass like Texan belt buckle on your trousers, and they're like, have you taken your belts off? Have you put your belts through? And the amount of people that just go through, oh, that won't matter. I'll wear my watch through, that's fine. And the amount of impact that has down to the next 100 people. And like, if you get one at the start of the day, I've even asked the security team before, it's like, what happens when you get one, like someone that's proper belligerent? They go, if we get that in the morning, it's a nightmare for the whole day because you've got consistent people, especially places like big airports. You've got consistent flow of people coming on the back of what is a traffic jam because of one idiot. And I just don't understand what possesses people to think that they're so much better than everyone else that they can walk through that security gate with whatever they want on them. and it makes me so angry. However, so that we don't start the show on too much of a negative note.
Yeah, because our pre-show was pretty much as negative as you can get. Sorry.
I had 2 days off at the start of the week. The second day was ruined by work calls and planning my Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which I thought were office days, and ended up being a 300-mile round trip round 2 projects in one day, followed by a flight to go and fix another problem, and then a flight back today. So latter half of the week we won't go too much into. But on Monday, I had literally the best meal of my life. Like, bar none, the best meal I've ever had. It was amazing. So
and where was it?
It was at a place called Shak Fu Yu in London, that London town. And I heard about it on a podcast that I love, Off Menu podcast with James Acaster and what is his name? I can see his face.
Cliff.
It was an example.
I'm so glad you picked up on that, Cliff, because it's so fucking true. Why are there Brits wearing Texas belt buckles?
You know, like, because I have a big Texan belt buckle, but that's because it's got a bottle opener in the middle of it, and it's so useful. But I wouldn't wear that on a plane. What have you done? Oh, she can't hear. Anyway, that restaurant I heard about. What's it? Ed Gamble and James Acaster's Off Menu podcast. They've been ranting and raving about this place for 2 years of episodes, and they always talk about how amazing it is, and you've got to have the French toast. So I had a prawn toast, and I'm used to that from an English Chinese, which is usually a bit of toast and a little thin layer of like prawny goodness, and then some sesame seeds. Now this thing was like a dome. It was massive, and that was the first thing that came out. No. None of this is breakfast. This is all for dinner.
Okay.
Prawn toast.
Okay.
Have you never had prawn toast?
No.
Oh my god. So it's okay like from a Chinese takeaway in the UK.
Love them.
But so what we had is it's effectively a prawn souffle on toast. Shrimp prawn. Come on, Kelly. There we go. See, Bubs has got me covered. It was amazing.
Okay.
And it just blew our minds as me and David that went. And then we had some other little bits and pieces that were all amazing and couldn't fault anything. Also we had frozen margaritas, which are amazing, and these ones were particularly amazing. And then I'm like, I'm full and I don't want to eat any more, but the reason we came here was for the French toast. Okay. So it was a slab of what the Brits call French toast, which, Cynthia, I know that's probably insulting to you.
Well, I mean, I know what Americans call French toast.
Same thing. It's just, same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what they call it in France?
Well, it's not just toast, is it?
No, it's lost bread.
Lost or last?
Lost, as in I can't find it.
Okay, lost.
Pain perdu. Lost bread.
But the thing that it had with this super sweet slab of the most amazingly cooked lost toast was a green tea ice cream. And it was amazing. So it's just, we had such a fantastic meal. So I just wanted to bring that to the team and then ask where your most fantastic meal was, Cynthia. And then we can lead into our wonderful guest and ask them for theirs.
Yes, let's do that. Okay, so my most awesome meal. Actually, okay, so there's one that I think I talked about this at our last show with Julien. I talked about the best burger that I ever ate in my life. I think. Did I talk about you guys? Did I talk about that with you guys, or did I dream of talking about that with someone? I can't remember. Anyway, I had so it. Thank you, Sarah. It was here. Chris, of course, does not remember. The best
I was
burger
going
in
to say
my
you're always
life.
dreaming of food, anyways.
I am. I am. You know, I'm French. You know what the French do? When they are eating, the conversation is around the table about food that they have already eaten or that they're going to soon eat. This is it is so French to do that.
Oh, I'm
You're
so
sitting
cutting into my
around.
steak right now. I'm about to eat this piece of steak right now.
No, no, no. You talk about not the food that you're eating. You talk about the food that you have once eaten
It's rude to
or
talk with
that
your
you
mouth
are
full,
planning
Cynthia. So you don't
on.
talk about food that you're eating.
No, we don't talk about the food that we're eating. We just say that's good. But then while we're eating the food that we're eating, we talk about other meals that we've had or yeah, or future meals when we know like we're going to go to a restaurant and we talk about that. That is our subject or sex.
That is not conversation for mealtime, Cynthia.
Oh, it so is. It so is. It's absolutely wonderful. We have had recent conversations about men over 45 taking Viagra.
No, this
I
was
mean,
about food. Get
this
back
is.
to
I
food.
know. I know. We're getting about. So let's get back to food. So my very best food, my very best meal, was in Jordan. It was in the desert, served by Bedouins, and they were actually our guide's cousins, and they had fixed a meal for us, and it was the best meal I've ever had. It was there was chicken, there was mutton, there was. I mean, it was fresh and good and so yummy, and there was so much of it. And my kids were eating with their fingers, and when you know when you eat with your fingers, it just makes it so much better. You know, and you're sitting out
I
in the desert.
completely disagree with that, but carry
Oh
on.
my God, I love eating with my fingers. I finger eating is one of my favorite things. It's just like I love it.
I
The
can't cope in there.
KFC baseline finger licking good. It that is so that's it. When you can eat with your fingers and it's good, I mean, it's wonderful. So yeah, let's ask our guest. So our guest is Mark Page. Mark is a wonderful artist. He works in the cruise industry and he is talented. And so let's bring him on and let's ask him what his favorite meal is. Hey,
Hello,
Mark.
hi.
Hello,
Wow.
hello.
I don't even know what to say to follow up that awesome intro and just the conversation thereafter. Wow, it's a lot to take in.
Welcome to the fun house.
Let's see. That's so hard. I've had so many amazing meals just while working for the Disney company and traveling. But man, I will say my wife and I on a cruise, um, um, it was uh, one of the places we stopped off in. Um, man, I'm drawing a blank. It wasn't the Bahamas. It was oh my goodness. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I know what it is. If you've ever been to Maui, there's a restaurant called Mama's Fish House. Now,
Mm.
the they catch fresh fish every morning, and that's what's served throughout the day. They don't keep the fish overnight. They don't. It's fresh fish that's been caught early that morning. And Mama's Fish House, just the design of it is amazing. Very eclectic. It's right on the beach. You can see windsurfers. It's, I mean, my wife and I had a table right near the window, so the breeze is coming in, the waves are crashing, the palm trees are swaying, and it's like these cocktails that they make. I can't remember the name of the one we got, but they're like 20 something dollars a piece, and I think we each had like 3 of them. We were just like, these are amazing. And I'm glad we made it back to our hotel safely. But the food was, I mean, the fish was out of this world. I think we got some kind of like tempura as an appetizer. And then the dessert, I think it was a creme brulee or something, and it was just like perfection. Like I have friends that have gone to Maui recently, and you can't even get a reservation because people know about Mama's Fish House, and so many people are going to Hawaii right now, especially Maui, and you just like, you can't get in that place. And yeah, I have to say, yeah, the other place I was thinking of was in Honduras, and it was like right on the beach. Again, fresh shrimp and crab, and it was amazing. But Mama's Fish House, it's like way
I
up
love
here. Yes, not cheap either.
Well, I mean, you know, when you have good food or a great experience, then it's sort of worth the money. I mean,
Yeah.
in France, there's obviously lots of Michelin starred, you know,
Mm-hmm.
gastronomic restaurants, and I've been to a bunch of 1-star restaurants. I've been to a bunch of 2-star restaurants. I've never been to a 3-star. But it's always an experience, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not worth the money, and sometimes it is. And I mean, it always is something new. Put it
Yeah.
that way. And I think that, I mean, I am very, very French that way, in that I definitely love and will worship good food. I mean,
Oh,
it gets to that level where I'm just, you know, sitting and adoring this food, that, or, you know, the capacity of people to make such good food. It blows my mind, and I think it's so cool. I mean, it's art. It's art
yeah.
for me.
Oh,
It's
You say art there, Cynthia, but then think about how you and I just described our favourite meals, and then think about how Mark, you can clearly hear that he's the artist of the group
I know.
by the way that he painted the picture of the
I know.
scene of where he was eating the meal. And I
That's
just like, I went
exactly
into
what I
this
was saying.
place and it's in London somewhere. I didn't mention the decor or what anything looked like. It was just like food.
I
And
know.
I
It's exactly.
genuinely, I couldn't even tell you the colour of the walls.
well, that speaks to how good the meal was. But
How binary I am in what I look at. It's like, okay, I'm here for food. I will only look at food. That is the end of it. Away with you.
but I mean, just as a segue, what you were talking about, Cynthia, is, I mean, before I went to art school, I seriously was considering going to culinary school, because I see them both as forms of art. And one is, well, they both are stimulating visually. When you get a nice dinner that's plated well and it's beautifully executed, it's almost like, man, I don't even want to start. I got to take pictures before I start like digging into this, because it looks so beautiful. And totally, it's art, and it's about the experience, and in themed entertainment, and what you know Disney does is they really give guests, they try to give that premium experience, whether it's an attraction, or a meal at one of the restaurants, or a show. And and you're right, that's all of those things make it memorable. The smells, the sounds, all of those things that appeal to your senses. And food is definitely, you know one of the strongest sensory overload things that you know I really wanted at one point to do, because I mean, what I do is designed to appeal to, an audience, or appeal to my viewers. But with cooking, it's the same thing. You're striving to create something that appeals to people's palate and gives them that memorable experience. It's a
Yeah,
powerful thing.
it definitely is. It's that scene in Ratatouille where the I forgot the name of the mouse.
Remy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Remy.
Yeah.
Where Remy explains taste and combining tastes and how they come and explode in the mouth.
Oh,
And that is it's sometimes Disney just they just get it.
yeah.
It's and they summed up French culture in that one scene. In that one scene, that
Yeah.
it was so true. But so listen, now we know what you wanted to do, but you didn't. But now, Mark, what do you do? Tell us what you do, who you are, how'd you get here? Give us the dirt.
Uh, so I knew early on I wanted to work in the entertainment industry, and I knew I wanted to go to the best art school in the nation, which at the time was the Art Center College of Design at Pasadena. Um, had to struggle for a minute because it's very expensive, but fortunately, I was able to get um, scholarships based on the work that I did while I was there. So ultimately, I got to the point where I didn't even have to pay for the rest of my education. And while I was there, I was doing internships at studios like Rhythm and Hues, doing visual effects, and I was working on films such as the X Files movie, um, My Favorite Martian, which was a Disney movie from a long time ago.
Mm,
And these were at what are known as effects houses, which don't, there's not too many of them around, because that was when they actually made the physical like mask and costumes for aliens and stuff. And now it's all CG. Um, but I was doing all of that stuff while I was in school because I wanted real world education. And just so happens that when after I graduated and we interviewed with different companies, um, Walt Disney Imagineering just stood out the most as far as the companies that were interested in me, because they appreciated my imagination when they looked at my work, and they felt that I could be really utilized in designing attractions. And even though I was approached by Nike and ILM and Pixar, the fact that Disney Imagineering specifically liked what I was saying with my imagination, and that they were immediately going to allow me to use my imagination to design things, to me, that was the draw. Um, with the other companies, it seemed like I was going to start at kind of like a junior level, and not really get to express myself in design. And I had already gotten work experience, and I was like, so I got hired by Imagineering in 1997. I worked there to 2000. They had layoffs because we had finished designing two major theme parks, and it was things were kind of slowing down. So I had to go out and try my hand at animation. I worked at Sony TV
So
Animation.
before we move on, you shared with us a few of your a little bit of your work at Disney.
Yeah,
Can we bring that up and show our audience what you did?
sure. So this work is after I was asked to come back to Imagineering in 2007.
Oh, okay.
And this time around, um, they knew I had worked at other studios. They knew I had a certain level of experience. And this time around, they were looking at me to become an art director. So this is a project in Tokyo Disney Seas, and it was the first project I was asked to art direct, and it meant traveling to Japan. Um, and so I was nervous about that whole thing, being in a different culture, not wanting to offend anybody, not really knowing what to do and what to say, and I was it was a lot thrown at me at one time. Um, but it turned out to be an amazing experience. Um, so basically, this little land that I was asked to art direct was it's called Mickey and Friends Greeting Trails, and it's an area where guests can meet Mickey and Goofy and Donald and Daisy and Minnie. And in Japan, that's huge for them
Mm.
to come to the park and meet these characters. uh that's a big deal. They will wait in line for 3 hours to see Mickey. Um so in trying to honor that, this area, or this little pavilion or land, it's hard to explain what it is. But it was it's like the story is, it's like an excavation site, and this is an ancient kind of Mayan, cartoony, um, dig site where Mickey and Minnie and Goofy, they're all have different tasks. Minnie is kind of documenting the insects that she finds, and of course Mickey's the leader, leading the crew, and they're taking black and white photos of things. So you'll see, photos of before they came, and uh, before they excavated the area, and then after. So like this Donald, um, head of this Mayan king, is one of the things that they excavated, and so you'll see it hanging like they just pulled it from the earth. And so there's a lot of storytelling. There's a lot of hidden little gems in there for guests to look for. You'll see images of like some of the butterflies and their markings look like Mickey or some of the insects. So basically, these like this illustration here shows like Goofy's pavilion, but the ancient his ancient ancestors from a Mayan world, and so this was like a throne.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I had a really good time designing all this stuff, and this shows like me using ZBrush to kind of um, in my workflow, kind of to design stuff so I could see it three dimensionally. So ZBrush is like a three-dimensional sculpting tool, if you will. Um, and so I would do these things, and then it would go to our sculpture studio, and then there you can see, you know, the evolution of the design, which I'm not sure if I'm supposed to show that or not. But
Take it off quickly.
right. So starting to think about some of the gags or photo ops for guests as they peruse through this land where they're going to be there for hours waiting to meet Mickey or Minnie or Goofy. So we wanted to have plenty of um, pretty cool photo opportunities for them. And again, all these sculptures um, are like ruins that they've excavated this area. So you can see some of my early drawings, and then you'll see in the photos how they were executed, and it was awesome. I mean, we had vendors in
Wow.
in Japan that would be like 2 hours away from Tokyo. They like out in the country in Japan, sculpting stuff, and just their attention to detail and their craftsmanship was, it was amazing. Their dedication. And when I had to art direct them, sometimes that there were things that were lost in translation, and I would actually like ask, can I, sculpt on your piece, just to show you, like, to get the character right, to get the character on model. And they were so grateful to let me do that. They didn't take like offense to it, like, oh, I didn't do a good job and now you want to sculpt on my. It was like, no, please. And they just were so willing to take direction, and I just loved working in Japan. So yeah, this is a lot of the artwork and my art direction through the artwork. And then we'll see now like the actual production. So you'll see
Wow.
how things came out compared to my drawings, and they're almost like exact. So these were hidden in the trees. So there was a lot of little things that as you're going through this area, that you could stumble upon. Here you can see this beetle, and if you look real closely at the markings, looks like
Oh, it's Donald Duck.
Yeah.
That took me
spoiler,
a while.
Chris.
Yeah, that was
Spoiler.
That
No, yeah, that's
I
that
said
was
that out of my own surprise there. I was like, what's going on there? I don't know what that is. I was like, no, I know what it is.
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, and
Wow.
these pictures don't do these justice. They look like jewelry the way they were painted. They're like iridescent. They look like a beetle, like, beautiful
Mm.
colors and iridescent colors. And so this is Minnie documenting in her sketchbook these insects that they found in the area. So it's just a really delightful experience. You're there to meet the characters, but there's all these kind of interactive things and little notes that I'm sorry, Minnie has made. And um each character has kind of done certain things. Goofy, of course, is, he crashes the truck that they were using to transport some very, very delicate Mayan sculptures. So, why Goofy would be in charge of that, who knows? But all of this tells us a story of what these characters are doing. This is Minnie's tent, and of course, you can see her classic polka dots on the patches and on the tablecloth. So all those little elements just speak to these characters, and that's Minnie's tent. Um, just I had so much fun working on this, and um, you know, we had days where it snowed, and we had to work as much as we could during um, during the winter. But there were times it was just too cold, and we'd have to stop working. It was almost like, man, we were right there, or it was something that you were really excited about working on, but it was like, I gotta come back tomorrow. So here you can see Goofy's throne finished, beautifully painted. I mean, everything is so um, meticulously done. The aging, um, the character sculpts, and just it really feels, like a legitimate place. So yeah, you can see there's Minnie again documenting things. She's the artist of the bunch who documents everything. So here we can see classic Goofy.
Sorry, are these
Yeah,
prints something that you've drawn as a concept that has become part of it, that then your initial artwork has then become part of the park? Or is it you've sort of designed something that looks slightly different to this, and then this is what's gone into the park at the end, and this is like photographs of what's going on? Because I mean, you can see the drawings and the sort of similarity in that they are identical to each other, but I'm just
yeah.
trying to put together, is that your artwork blown up that someone else has copied, or is this something that you've done physically in the park?
Yeah, it's my artwork to give direction to um, people that are the scenic painters and sculptors. And so, I like to liken the design as a roadmap. Obviously, a roadmap gets you to a destination. And so all of the the artwork is important to not only direct uh, how something should look, but it stands the test of time. It can be replicated and given to different groups. The sculptors, the painters. It provides a roadmap for everybody, no matter what um, their talent is or what their responsibility is. So, yeah, I wasn't the only designer, but all of the artwork you see here was mine. And then I art directed some of the other designers, and the graphics, um, the landscape architects, the engineers, um, the construction people. I mean, you have to be ready to be able to take all of that on. And for me, this was my first experience. It was a lot, but I learned a lot too. And um, just that, when you're working on these projects, you kind of have to think quick on your toes, because
Mm.
with construction, things can happen. You can excavate a part of land, and then there's like some conduit that you can't get rid of that. And it's like, that's right where we were going to put this sculpture. And then you have to come up with a creative way to still execute the design and tell the story. But you have to, kind of be cognizant of what you're dealing with, what the reality of the lay of the land is. So,
Mm.
it's it calls for a lot of creative problem solving, but I love that. I love solving for problems and figuring out a creative solution.
I mean, same for me, but I'm completely the opposite end of the project to the way you are, because I'm doing the last minute AV engineering and go, oh, you mean we can't put that projector there? Why is there a totem pole where my projector should be? I know. Oh no, well, we just put that in there because we had to move that because there was this in the groundworks. It was a problem. So it's like each individual sort of profession solves their problem for their area of the project.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then it's, oh, we're going to open tomorrow. AV guys, is everything working? I was like, well, I've still got a totem pole where a projector needs to be.
Yeah.
Can I cut into it? Can I hide my projector into it? Oh, we'll go get the art director back again. So if I can grab you back from right at the start of the project, bring you up. I need to put a projector in your beautiful artwork. I'm really sorry.
It's so true.
We can do it for a small little hole, but we need a big gap out the back. And then but sometimes you get the people that go, no, this is how it has to be. And you get the other people, which I think you might be one of, that goes, no, that's fine. Get that in where it needs to go. And what we'll do is figure out something bigger in the totem pole that covers what you need covering.
Yeah.
And we all have a fantastic time and go home afterwards feeling very happy with ourselves.
When those challenges come up and I've been able to solve for it, it's really fulfilling, because you don't want to tell somebody, what, you already put the lighting in, or you already put that speaker in. You need to take that out because we've designed it like this. It's like they've done a lot of hard work to do their job, and it's like, it's my responsibility to try to come up with a way to work around that. um not always. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, but I think it shows your leadership, and it shows
Mm.
your willingness to work with the team to try to figure out, like, okay, let's come up with something, that this is the situation, let's figure out something that works, so we don't have to tear all of this down, and you guys have to come back tomorrow and redo all of this according to, like, what my desire is for this thing. Now, if it's very important for the story, if it's going to take people out of the story where they feel immersed in this environment, and they're getting that experience, like we talked about with food, they're getting the experience that is making them feel a certain way, and somebody puts a big speaker right in the middle of, like, this land that's supposed to feel like it's ancient, then no, we have to do something about that.
Mm.
Because somebody will see that and you take them right out of the story. So you have to be looking out for all kinds of stuff like that. When the prop designer comes in and they're putting props that you've chosen.
Yeah.
Sometimes those props don't show up, they don't get shipped, and then it's like, okay, what do we do? Because we really wanted that shovel right here, you know. So it's one of those things where it's just it's like show business. It's like, you know, the show must go on. We got to figure out creative ways to make this work.
Hmm. Wow, I mean, it's incredible to actually see. uh, I'm not an artist, I don't draw, but I do words. And when I see my words up on the screen, or when I see my words projected or written down on a wall in a museum, it brings tears to my eyes. So I can only
Mm.
imagine that something that um, gets that is so personal, like your art, and that you can see it being done, and you see the people that are trying to recreate something that you put down on a piece of paper, or a virtual piece of paper, shall I say, on a computer, and that make it like touchable in real life. I can only imagine how wonderful that must be. And it's
Oh,
so faithful to your drawings. That's amazing.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of meetings and a lot of
Mm.
back and forth. And but yeah, when you finally start to see the stuff come to life, and I mean it's pretty indescribable, the
Mm.
feeling. And then I wasn't able to be there on the opening day, but people sent me pictures, and you know, you see how the guests respond, and it's emotional. It
Mm.
really is. It's I mean, the line to get into Mickey and Friends Greeting Trails was wrapped around, I mean, it must have been 3 or 4 hours to get in there, and these guests are waiting, and to see them want to experience something that you had a hand in
Created.
creating,
Yeah.
you know, um, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. I mean, they'll never know who I am or what I did, but you know, that's not important. What's important is, you know, honoring the guests and giving them the best experience. I mean, that's what Walt Disney would have said.
Well, that's why we created this show. Is for that, exactly for that reason, because no one ever gets to meet the people that have a hand in creating these things, and no one knows who they are, no one knows their names.
Yeah.
And that is exactly the reason why we wanted to do this show, Unsung Heroes, because you are, for that park and for those people that are able to experience those moments in time, you're a hero. And I mean, you and the team that worked on, obviously, you
Yes.
and the team that worked on that project. And I mean, it's awesome. I'm sure that there are more projects that there's. We cut you off
I got break.
you need to get this call. Yes, he does. So I am all on myself. I am all on my own. Hello, everybody. This is what live television or live YouTube things is. And of course, at the same time, my darling host is not here with me. So um, what I will say is, if you all have any idea who an unsung hero in your life is in themed entertainment or themed experience industries, let us know. Get in touch with us and give us names. And we are always willing to have unsung heroes on our show because we don't know everyone. We can't know everyone from all over the world. So if you have ideas, people that could be great guests on our show, please, please, please let us know who they are. And I'm still all by myself. No one unsung hero. Yes, we do. Um, so I guess I'll shine a spotlight on me because I'm all by myself. And so I will tell you all that I have now launched my website, www.themedexperiencetraveler.com. Kelly, if you could pull up the website. And that is my website to talk about my trip to Latin America that is happening in, oh my God, 2.5 months now. And so I will be visiting themed experiences all over Latin America and interviewing the designers and the people who created and the unsung heroes of Latin America. And so if you know of any places, if you know of any things that I should visit in Latin America, even if they're not themed experiences, get in touch with me, and you can reach me at Themed Experience Traveler on Instagram, Facebook, and I guess that's it. That's enough. And thank you. Traveler with one L. It's the American spelling. Yeah. I know this is a British show, but it's the American spelling. Hey, Chris, thank you for coming and joining.
Sorry, I had to pop out for a second, and
Yes,
it seems like Mark had to pop out for a second as well.
He did.
Yeah,
He did.
sorry about that.
So I was all by myself. And I just took advantage of that to talk about my themed experience traveler website.
Of course you did. Shameless.
Have you heard of Ishkaret?
Have I what?
Have you heard of Ishkaret?
I have, and I am going.
Oh,
yes.
You will love that place.
Yeah, I know. There are so many wonderful places. I mean, it's just thank God I'm going for 16 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
It was only supposed to be a year, and so yeah, it's turned out to be 16 months. But anyway, who cares about me? You are our guest. And so we interrupted you telling your path. And so you were at Disney, and then you left Disney, and then you went to Sony, from what I remember.
Well, so there were two parts to my career at Disney. Right out of school, I was there for 2 years, and then they had some layoffs. And then I went and worked at some other companies that do theme park attractions in different parts of the world, and did animation at Sony TV Animation. And then I freelanced for a while and did a lot of work for Disneyland, specifically doing graphics and packaging design for their merchandise and their I guess food packaging and design. So when you go to Disneyland and you get like a soda, and you don't want just the regular paper cup, you want the plastic collector's cup with the artwork on it. I was one of the guys doing all of that artwork, as well as I designed all the logos for the bands at Disneyland. And then in 2007, that's when I got a call to come back to Imagineering. And at first I was working on the Animal Kingdom team. And then I went on to work on Tokyo stuff. And later on did art directed and designed the Aqua Lab for the cruise ships, and even worked on a few of the Disney hotels. Um, so yeah, I mean, my experience was really broadened, and I'm thankful to the company for giving me the opportunity for seeing, you know, um, for giving me the chance to work on so many different avenues of the
Mm.
business, and um, yeah, it's made me such a I don't know, well-rounded designer, because I've had to do. I mean, at one point I was even doing sculpts for chocolate. So like a sculpt that was going to be turned into a mold for like a Mickey chocolate bar.
Mm. Oh my gosh.
So I've done like, I mean, hospitality design with the hotels. I guess you could say that as far as the cruise ships as well. But on the fantasy, I really um, I I did the design for the Dumbo and Timothy sculpt that's
Mm.
on the back of the ship. I did the design for the mini statue that's in the atrium, and I art
Do you
directed.
do you have did you give us art for the for everything that you're explaining? Because we could pull that up on the show. I don't know if you did that.
I I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I thought I would highlight that one project because I had a lot of art and then photos to show the documentation. But I mean, it's definitely online if you do a Google search. um, so yeah, the fantasy I really, especially the Aqua Lab was special to me. Um,
Mm.
I just, I really got to do some things with that and really had to uh, work around some challenges. It's a water play area, but it's on a ship. I had to learn how those water faucets. We had different types. Some that like bubbled, some that were like spraying, some that just spouted. And I kind of had to learn how they work and where I wanted certain water spouts. Again, going back to what's the story we're telling. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to gather
That's okay.
all
That's
of
okay.
that stuff.
I know that we have a bunch of of art from your personal deck.
Yeah,
Can we go through that? That'd be
yeah,
a I mean great fun to take a look at.
yeah. This really helped me transition to. I mean, to me, I think if you're a good designer and you
Wow.
focus on storytelling and um, you really pay attention to the task, I think you can design for just about any industry. I've done product design. Um, this set of work really speaks to the animation industry, which I ultimately transitioned to and have been working on and off with Netflix so far. But so this is just one of my illustrations I did that kind of shows like, you know, all of the things that I'm kind of into. I'm into sci-fi stuff, so you see the little alien. I love children's book illustration, so it kind of has that vibe. I love steampunk. Um, so, you know, this piece just kind of speaks to
Wow.
the stuff I'm into, I guess. And this is really my traditional style, if you will. Like I love drawing, and so this particular piece was, hand drawn, and then I scan it in, and then do the painting in Photoshop. But it's kind of like a watercolor wash, so that I want the viewer to see, my draftsmanship. I want them to see my drawing ability. So, I don't go too thick with painting over the drawing.
Mm.
So for the first time ever on Unsung Heroes, I've switched screens so that I've put us all on the screen where the camera's not, so I can see it in better detail. You can get
Cool.
lost in this.
Incredible. Oh yeah.
You
Oh,
can get absolutely lost in it. There's so much going on.
Oh yeah.
oh, thanks, Chris. Appreciate
Beautiful.
that.
It is beautiful. I mean, it's
Thank you.
intricate and delicate and
Do you,
hilarious.
Mark, do you sell prints? Or can I have
I-
a print of that?
Actually, I do.
Is it on your website?
Yeah, I think there's a link on my website too.
Right.
Yeah, I believe this is one of the prints I have.
I'll
But
put everything back on the other screen and go. I shall be doing that later because that's absolutely magnificent.
oh, thank you. Yeah, and I'm totally redoing my website. The new website should be up in like a couple weeks, and it's gonna have more of, some of the work I've done for these other companies. So yeah, just to throw that out there. As a kid, I loved the story, The Three Billy Goats Gruff, where there was a troll underneath the bridge, and he would scare these little sheep that were trying to get across the bridge until the big ram comes at the end and kind of dominates the troll, and he kind of defeats the bully, if you will. So this was me kind of doing some visual development, as if if this were going to be in a film, an animated film or something. This is me playing around with what's that troll look like, and what's the story elements. And so yeah, I mean, again, this is me doing a drawing, scanning it in, and I love putting pencil to paper. I mean, even though I do a lot of stuff just digitally, I love when I have the time to actually put pencil to paper.
Cynthia's seen me crawl out of a TEA event the morning after, looking like that troll.
Very true.
I think we've all,
Very true.
Actually, in fairness, it's not just Cynthia; it's pretty much anyone and everyone.
we probably all had moments like that.
Yes.
So this is me working on another story that I've self-published my own graphic novel, and this was another graphic novel I had been working on. But when I do the work, when I'm doing the visual development, I do it so that it's twofold. It's like it's helping me inform me of the design and the storytelling. But it's like if I showed this to somebody who worked in the theme park industry, this could work for designing a theme park, or it could work for animation. It's those skill sets, they work across the board in all of these industries. And sometimes it's hard to get people to understand that just because I design theme parks does not mean I can't design for animation. But Netflix saw, when I actually got to have a Zoom meeting with them, they saw how I thought about things, and that I'm thinking about how things will get built. And when you're designing for an animated film, especially a 3D animated film, it has to get built as a 3D model. So they appreciated that about my skill sets. So this is still design work for this story that I've been working on for a while about this little wind-up toy called Tink, and these were some of the
Oh, look how cute it is.
That is amazing.
yeah, some of the development designs, just trying to figure out, what the design language, the shape language works the best for this character and his personality. So yeah, it's a lot of work,
When this is made, I want it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
If I only had more time.
So Kelly said in like earlier on today to me in our WhatsApp group, it's like Mark is going to blow your mind, and I was like, yeah, sure. She's exactly right. She's exactly right.
Chris, you're making
Very
my day,
true.
man. So here you can see the
Oh.
main character who he's given this present, which is the little wind-up toy, and they become best friends. And then on the right, you can see an example of pages from the graphic novel. I had a publisher that was very interested in publishing this, and so I had to provide samples of what the end product would look like, what the pages in the graphic novel would look like. So that's kind of what this is.
So before we move on to any other image, where do you which bit do you start on? That's something that's always fascinated me with artwork, because because I'm an engineer, I'm always led by what the necessity is, and it's like make something happen. So okay, I need power, then I need the server or whatever is the brain of the thing, and then I build out from there. But with artwork, there is no central brain of to my understanding, there's no central brain of what you start with. So where do you start when you put pen to paper and it's a blank page? What bit are you drawing first?
I try to think in my mind, like, what do I, if this were in a film, what what do what best works with the story as far as the camera angle. And I'll do little thumbnail sketches that show different different camera angles. And this one I just thought worked the best, to show off this kind of mechanical flying airship, with the village below. And, it's very, to me, very reminiscent of some of Tim Burton stuff, or some of the old stop motion cartoons that would come out during the holidays, that we've all like seen, just the intricacy of the detail. And so yeah, just I don't know, it's like a flood of things that come in to my mind while I'm doing it, and you work it out a lot while you're sketching. So it's kind of, back and forth between the like thinking about it and sketching it, and then looking at it and thinking about how can I make this image better. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
It does make sense, but it also blows my mind because for me in my professional capacity, actually in any capacity, I think very binary, and everything has to be what it needs to be, and I don't understand the process of oh, I'll change that a little bit, I'll change that a little bit, because I'm working with all the time, working with engineering, I'm working with physical non-malleable items that need to be put where they need to go, otherwise nothing works. So I don't get to do this process of going, oh, I could put it here, or I could shift that a little bit, I could move that, I can change that, and I can do this and I can do that. And I find it fascinating how it starts as something, as an idea that just is a sketch, and then becomes something completely different through a process that no one ever sees, and then you end up with this magnificent result that no one ever knows how much went into that, which I do get, because no one ever knows how much goes into what we do. And you end up with a result like you've got in that bottom right hand corner, and it's like it's a story in a page.
Wow.
But
Chris, can you be my agent?
Yeah.
So I just have to tell you, Mark, I just dropped a message to my contact at the Annecy Animation Film Festival, and I told him to tune into the show. I don't know if he's going to be able to tune into the show, but I did send him your email, your website address. And
Okay.
it's funny because this year we had a conference that talked about how animation is in theme parks, and because the animation world has no idea that theme parks use animation, which is just mind-blowingly incredible for me.
Yeah.
And they don't know, like animators don't know that they could be theme park designers. And it's funny your take on being a theme park designer and speaking with Netflix and having the bridge go that way, in that direction, when at the conference was in June, and we had that then coming in the other direction from animation into theme parks, and I just think that it's really interesting, and I told him that you might be someone interesting to have on a workshop at the Animation Film Festival. So
wow.
you might get a
Well, if you
call.
do that, I'm coming, and I'm nothing to do with the industry whatsoever.
Thank you, Cynthia.
We're going to
That's
be
awesome.
now, so that I'm
But if
not
it's in
looking off camera all the
2022,
time.
I'm probably not going to be here. So.
Oh.
But you can't even see it. It's wonky as well. The extent of my art goes as far as photography, and that's my left hook.
Oh, nice.
I took
That's
that
nice.
picture, and then someone got it blown up on a canvas for me.
Awesome.
That's as far as I go.
That's great, Chris. Not giving yourself enough credit, man.
Pull your pants up, Chris. I'm his mom. Hey now. What did we say about being decent and suitable for children?
There was nothing inappropriate that you wouldn't see at a swimming pool.
It's true. Sarah, can you take us to the next? We need to go faster through these. I hate to not.
I don't want to, but for the sake of, we're going to end up with the world's longest show here.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is.
Can we do a two-parter?
This is some character design for the toy maker who actually created Tink in the story.
So how do you, on the right there's one version and on the left there's another version of the same toy maker?
Yeah, just thinking about the story, what ultimately happens with this character. What's the best way to portray him? Does he want to be just this happy, jolly toy maker guy, or does he want to have a little edge to him? Does he want to feel a little quirky and strange? It's thinking about the story and just trying to put stuff down on paper or on the computer.
So is the last version of him the one that's short and stocky? The one on the left that's in the colored?
I don't want to spoil anything.
Don't want to spoil it. I vote for the short and stocky one.
Okay. You're close. Really close.
It's like if that was like Geppetto and Gru as their love child.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Wow.
Yeah, I guess so. So this is a painting from a scene in the story where Tink is becoming the rescuer and he has to go into this kind of creepy, marshy area. So he kind of has to face his fears in order to do something very heroic. But I don't want to spoil the story. And then to the right, you can see more of like me working on the graphic novel, and when the character who receives Tink as a toy, this is his dad, going into this antique store, and this is when he first purchases Tink to bring home to his son.
This story you said you self-published. Is this the one that you've self-published?
I haven't self-published this one. The one I self-published is called Kana's Island, and I have a separate website for that one. It's just kanasisland.com. KANA island.com.
Okay. All right. So next slide.
This is for another story. I'm always working on my own stories, and that's how I generate a lot of my artwork. This is based on a story of an inventor who designs the first zoo. So it's very steampunk, very, Victorian. And this is kind of like, his version of like a monorail. It's called the Sky Rail, but it takes guests around the zoo so they can look down into the paddocks where the animals are.
I want to see that Sky Rail in a zoo. I want it to be reality.
Me too.
I don't want it to be a story. I want it to be reality.
Do we not, Cynthia? Do we not have literally? We're talking about it at IAPA in Europe, are we not? Like,
I don't know. I don't have the conference program.
I just need the right director or the right studio or the right investor to see what I'm doing and believe that I can make it reality.
Like, can you imagine a steampunk zoo?
It's the kind of thing that would absolutely work in Europa Park. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And it would blow minds because they are so good at replicating and like having something completely new be in their park and have something completely amazing. And do you imagine looking at this? Imagine us being stood there and then your old steampunk gorilla just walks out.
Oh my God, that
would blow your mind.
That would be so amazing.
I mean, I think this could be a 3D animated film. I also think it could be a live action film, and like Will Smith would be my guy who would play the inventor, because this guy's an inventor and he realizes that, well, I get weary about talking too much about the story elements because, I have had things heavily plagiarized that I've done, but it's like, what am I going to do? I got to show my stuff, I got to show what I can do. But, unfortunately, there's no limit to the people that will try and capitalize on.
Yeah, Mark, Sarah in our comments, Sarah, our co-producer, she's talking about Les Machines de Lille, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Les Machines de Lille.
Are they the company that did the Sultan's Elephant?
Yeah,
like the giant puppets.
Yeah, it's in Nantes in France. It's a city in France, and this guy did this park, and it's just an amazing place. And you really should, as soon as you can come into France, go visit, because it's just incredible.
I would love to. Yeah,
I really think that we should do a TEA event there. I would really like to see that happen.
I saw some French, so now I need to pronounce it in English. Can we
Alright.
have it back up here, please? Thank you. That will be a Les Machines de Illy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. There we are. That would be it. Les Machines de Lille.
No, Les Machines.
So this was another piece where I was designing this kind of castle fortress area, and then in the background you can see like the village. And then I started thinking about, okay, what's the story? And so that second image is kind of like you can see the flags with the different
Hmm.
insignias or logos or whatever. So it's two opposing kingdoms, and they're this one group, their choice of transportation is these zeppelins. Again, because I love steampunk. So there's going to be a meeting here, and ultimately, will it lead to some kind of battle between these two kingdoms, or is this you know a meeting to call for peace, or we don't know. But that was enough for me to go on to create the imagery. um, so, and if you look on the bottom image where it has like there's those two like ramps coming off the castle that slope down. Basically, their guards ride sleds, so like with sled dogs, and so that's how they get down to the ground level. So they come out of those little openings and they go down those ramps that are all intertwined underneath the woodworking of this platform, and then they get down to the ground level to defend the castle.
So do you again with the how do you start drawing that? Like, do you just see that image in your mind and go, or do you have a story that you need to? There's multiple parts of it of what needs to happen in this imagery. So you draw the individual pieces and then put them together.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll look at reference material. A lot of times, I try to start with a sketch. What initially is in my head. I think reference is very important, but sometimes it can steer you in a different direction, and oftentimes it steers you in a good direction. But I like to try and put down on paper like what's in my head first, and then yeah, it's a series of looking at reference and thinking through the story. And yeah, if this is a castle, it's got to be defended. So how do the guards defend the castle? And if it's elevated on this mountain ridge, but they need to get down to a lower level in case, the supports for the castle are being attacked, how do they do that? And I just came up with this, sled thing.
Incredible.
And I mean, that probably goes back to my theme park experience, thinking about like the Matterhorn or things like that. Um, but I could
Wow.
just see like what that would look like in a film. Like it would be so cool to see, these guys on these sleds going through this crazy, like kind of toboggan constructed bridge to get down to the lower level.
Wow. Next
So-
one. Let's. I'm trying to streamline.
Yeah, so these were some character designs for a mobile game that I did.
Okay.
Some more characters. I don't want people to think I straight copied Indiana Jones, even though that's like my favorite film. They specifically said, look, we want this character to look a lot like Raiders of the Lost Ark. And so that's what I did. So I don't want people to think I copy. This is exploration for, again, I think about these stories, and the top um, illustrations are from this story about this guy who inherits this old factory that belonged to his great grandfather, and he's going in and he's single-handedly trying to repair this factory to get it up and running.
Incredible.
The pieces below are just like thinking of like background designs in film or whatever the medium is, like composition, thinking about the composition and where I want the viewer to look. Same with the sketches on the right. Those are kind of just like, I don't know what I want to do, a castle, something sci-fi, and so that's just me freestyling, just messing around, sketching.
That's messing around sketching. I'm sorry, but it's like I can't even draw a stick figure. Exactly. Yeah. Mark Page freestyle.
Yeah. Some character design stuff. Again, just like I didn't know what I wanted to design for. This is just sketching and having fun, but thinking about the shapes and, obviously trying to really give an idea of what these characters, their personalities would be. Yeah, playing around with some chimp designs, even doing like kind of a steampunk version. Just, yeah,
That's incredible.
just getting ideas out. It's kind of like, this is another story I'm working on about an alien ice cream man. So yeah, this is the color exploration and the design exploration for this character. His name is Sid, the ice cream man, the alien ice cream man. So yeah, I'm constantly working on stories. I need to actually finish something. Oh no, don't say that. Keep drawing. This is like a medical robot. This is a character that works with a team of heroic characters, and even though he's big and giant and bulky, he is very meticulous at handling surgery.
I just immediately thought, I'm so sorry, but I immediately thought to myself, I know which hand I'd prefer to do my crossbow.
Probably don't want that big hand.
It just is. I don't know why. The first thing that came to mind.
We were good.
Medical doctor button. He's got this giant hand. I'm like, no, get away from me.
Okay.
Next slide. Next.
Just showing that I can do sci-fi stuff. And then this is another story I'm working on about a young girl who's kind of like she's an archaeologist. So you can see like the little thumbnail sketches on the bottom, and then at the top, it's a tighter, more refined drawing of the bottom right thumbnail sketch. But this is her dad's office, where he's obviously been all over the world and collected things as maps, and there's pictures, and this is the same room but at a different camera angle. So it's obvious that this person has collected things from around the world and loves antiquities, and so that all goes into storytelling. I mean, that could work for a theme park attraction. This is the main character named Kiara, who is this young aspiring archaeologist. If you think like a teenage Tomb Raider. And so this is my ZBrush sculpts and then posing her to give people an idea of what it would look like if it was a 3D animated film or a video game.
It's
Got to be able to
incredible.
sell the idea. And this is the main bad guy. His name is Rush, kind of for Gold Rush. And he's a treasure hunter, and he's the main antagonist. He's always one step behind Kiara.
Wow.
This is, you know, logo design that I've done. The Royal Street Bachelors, the Straw Hatters, and the Hook and Ladder Company. Those are logos for the Disney bands. And then I was asked to come up with this grizzly character for one of the main attractions at Hong Kong Disneyland. It's basically like Thunder Mountain on steroids, but it's Grizzly Gulch. So I designed this.
Yeah.
And they use this on like every piece of packaging and merchandise, like in the merchandise store. It's like if I can get a penny for every piece of merchandise they sold with that graphic,
Wow. Yeah.
I'd be retired.
Yeah.
This is for a show that is called Mighty Express. It's by the company that also does Paw Patrol. And so they came to me, they wanted me to design some of these stations that the trains go to. So this was a mail station. So you can see I kind of, want to give that idea immediately. So I made it look like, an old mailbox.
Yeah.
And you can see on the right, on the bottom, their interpretation of my design, which is pretty close.
Oh yeah. That's incredible.
This is me just playing around with doing kind of your classic TV animation background style for something really cartoony, which I don't normally do, but I just wanted to show that, I can do that if it needs to be, if that's what I'm hired to do.
That's incredible.
Oh yeah, I could just do that. I don't. It's not really what I do, but I can do that. I couldn't even dream of drawing something like that you did as a cartoon. Mental.
I just really have tried to be as broad in my, my styles, my type of work as possible.
So that last image we saw, I've already checked your website. I can't buy it as a print, but I do want one. So let me know when you've got it up so I can buy one.
Yeah, it's on. I guess I didn't put that link on there. I think the company is like print.com. I'll be in touch with you, Chris, but I'm gonna make sure I put that up on my new site that is coming very soon.
Sweet.
Very soon. Wow. All right. So we have just loved your deck of drawings and your artwork. It's just you are, I mean, incredible. And this has been an original show because we haven't asked you any of the questions that we usually ask to our guests, but that's okay. And because I think that everyone just loved watching your amazing artwork. So let's move to our fun question.
Me. I love your amazing artwork.
I love the artwork too.
Thank you so much.
So shall we move to fun questions?
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your quick fires?
I'll do the quick fires.
Oh,
absolutely.
This is what makes me nervous.
This is what makes me nervous. Wow. All right, Mark, ready?
Yeah.
Apples.
Let's do it.
Apples or oranges?
Oranges.
All right. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Okay. Best sandwich.
Best sandwich. Ooh. Uh, I'm gonna, I dig a classic. I'm gonna go BLT.
Okay. Bacon, lettuce, tomato.
Yeah, put a little avocado on there.
Ah, that's classic, but it is an eternal good one.
Oh yeah.
All right. One thing that you own that you should throw out.
Wow. Is this because I'm guilty that I own it, or?
Oh, keep one more fun question.
One thing that I own that I should throw out. Any art book that I have that has Jar Jar Binks in it. That might get me in trouble.
What's that harsh?
Not that
That's so wonderful.
the drawings done to that character were beautiful. I think Ian McKay did the drawings. It's just that character. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and just that character is just hard to. It's hard
I think
to watch.
they had in that film. They had the best Sith Lord with the worst rest of the film.
Which would be?
No, that's Phantom Menace. It has absolutely no bearing on the story for Star Wars at all. We don't need it. And that's why I have a problem with it. But Darth Maul is an amazing, immense character. I will never forget being, I think I was 11, maybe 12 years old when that came out. And when he first holds his lightsaber out, and then one end goes, and then the other end goes, my brain dropped out my ass. I was like, what?
No,
that you're a thing?
You're like, this dude. What? And then you're
gonna take on 2 Jedi on your own, and he's just like, bam, 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 bam. I'm like, oh my god, this guy.
But Jar Jar becomes like a royal, like, administrator. It's like, really? And Darth Maul's gone. Okay.
I mean,
anyways,
look at politics. I mean, the same thing happened.
That makes sense.
A weird, useless moron ending up in charge, mentioning no names.
All right. We are still in fun questions.
Okay.
We are still in fun questions. We are not doing politics. All right. Your favorite smell?
Favorite smell? Wow. My wife's cooking.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Gotta give props to the wife.
Oh my goodness. She's gonna like you tonight.
I gotta make sure she sees this.
Yes, exactly. minute, I don't know what minute, but 1 minute 35, she can start watching.
Okay.
1 hour and 38 minutes.
I'm jotting that down.
Yes, hour 38, sorry.
Yeah.
Your least favorite smell?
Wow. Least favorite smell. Oh wow. I mean, well, there's some pretty obvious ones.
Yes.
I will say, that smell that you get like after you've made breakfast and the pans and stuff have kind of been sitting around.
Cold grease.
Yeah, that's kind of like I gotta hurry up and like clean that because it's like ugh.
Yeah, cold burnt grease.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I have to agree that is definitely not a smell that I enjoy.
Yeah, I've gone over people's house where like, oh, they made like bacon and pancakes and eggs and stuff in here like 2 hours ago, and it's like that smell is just like,
Bleh. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. Describe your life in 5 words or less. The rest of your life. Excuse me. Describe the rest of your life in 5 words or less.
The rest of my life. Optimistic, creative, um, hopefully fun, uh, beautiful, um, inspiring.
Nice. That's beautiful. I like that. Timestamp that one.
Yeah, inspiring is already ticked. We know we've got that one there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you had to choose one song to listen to for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Man, that is tough. It's got to be something from Bob Marley. Man, so many good ones.
We haven't had Bob Marley yet.
Maybe Two Little Birds.
Ah oui, c'est vrai. It's true.
Um,
Two little birds.
on my doorstep.
Singing
Okay.
sweet song.
Really
A
not saying-
melody sure and true. Okay.
This is your
I don't want to start singing.
And yeah,
All right, okay.
my turn.
Your turn.
Oh, okay.
Right, I've only got. I literally only have 2 questions. We have the same. We have the same 2 every time. Because this is Unsung Heroes, Mark. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
To go back in time.
Time travel.
Yeah.
That's mine.
To
I totally agree with that.
maybe correct some things I did or make different decisions.
But then you wouldn't be the same person you are now. So I wouldn't change my own experiences because that's made me who I am. And if I changed one of them, I might be a completely different person that then loses the ability to have time control as my superpower because I wasn't in the right place at the right time to get it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So I would leave my past alone.
He goes there.
And then I would be like, right, okay, now I've got this fun. What can I do for the future? And you're damn right. The first thing I would do is clock forward to see what the next biggest lottery win would be, and make sure I damn well win it to make my life really easy. And then after that, I'll be like, right, okay, so nothing's going wrong from now on.
Things we learned from Back to the Future. I mean,
I know, right?
Exactly.
You can learn a lot from those movies.
Oh yeah.
You can only actually travel in time.
Well, Stephen Hawking had his party, didn't he? But he only announced that he was having a time travelers party about a week after he had the time travel to prove the fact that there was no such thing as time travel.
Right. Yeah.
But yes, I'd have the same superpower. And then finally, we asked the same question to everyone, Mark. If you had to wear a big hat or a little hat for the rest of your life, and you couldn't take them off, and you couldn't tell anyone why you were wearing them, you just had to wear them, which hat would you choose? Would you choose the big hat or the little hat?
I'd have to go with the top hat because
the big hat.
Yeah, I mean that works more for steampunk.
Well, it does work well for steampunk, but the trouble is, I bought this literally for this show to do big hat, little hat. Then thought I could wear it to a steampunk event when the TEA does them occasionally in Europe, which we do. But there is no such thing as a hat big enough for my head. So it literally just fits on the top of that, and I can't bring it down any further without ripping it. Oh, it's a nightmare.
Wow.
That's 15-4. Big hat versus little hat. Big hat is the overriding winner at the moment.
When you're having sex, it's not possible.
I think people would take me a little more seriously with that hat on too.
I
The
reckon
little hat, I don't know if they would take me seriously.
you just have to hold your head really still, Cynthia, and just be like pretending you're holding a book on your head whilst you're at it, just balancing it.
Okay.
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 All right. I can make that work.
So, as a final, I know we've popped out on a couple of times throughout the show there, but Mark, where can we find you? It is markpagedesign.com.
Yes.
There we go.
On Instagram, it's Mark J Page. I'm on LinkedIn. You just look for Mark. I think it's just Mark Page. It might be Mark Jason Page. If you do a Google search and you put in Mark Jason
on Google.
Well, I was doing a lot of fine art, if you will, for the Disney Gallery. They loved my steampunk style mixed with bringing that together with the Disney characters, and I started to develop somewhat of a following. So if you
so modest,
yeah,
I've got somewhat of a following.
Yeah, unbeknownst to me. I mean, but people love the Disney characters, and you mix that with some steampunk, and all the pieces were hand done, like watercolor, and they're done to look like design drawing. So it's kind of combining what I do as an Imagineer, or when I was an Imagineer, designing things, and they're in these steampunk vehicles. And one of my favorite ones is with it's an homage to DuckTales. And so it's Scrooge McDuck and the nephews in this limo, and the trunk is basically a safe. It has like a big old wheel that you turn, and he's got to have his money with him no matter where he goes. But it also
That's special kind of money that disobeys physics, though, because he can dive into it from a diving board and not die.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's called a cartoon, Chris.
Yeah. We're not looking for logical things.
That was the first time I ever questioned anything that came out of Disney. I was like, hang on a second. And I remember
so the Roadrunner running into a wall, not the Roadrunner, but the coyote running into a wall.
That's not Disney.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's still a cartoon.
He's holding Disney to a higher standard.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I do to everything, and Cynthia gets upset with me.
Yes, but I mean, how fun would that be to be able to have a vault where you could just like dive into a ton of money anytime you want to?
Oh yeah, I'd love that.
If you make that realistic, you'll probably come out of it high from all the cocaine on everything. If it's all notes.
Wow.
How many? It's like 90% of banknotes positive for cocaine or something like that.
Seriously?
I never even thought of that.
There is a mad statistic of what's on banknotes, which is they're saying they're changing them to plastic for the necessity for security, but that's only half the story. It's because they were literally petri dishes of filth as paper, and the new plasticky notes that we all have in England. I know it's not there in the States yet, but that plastic that Canada have it as well. It doesn't absorb and carry as much like stuff.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, I know money is filthy. It's transferred so many hands. But I never thought about the cocaine usage.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
All right. Well,
okay.
Listen.
And on that note,
boys and girls, I hope you
exactly. On that note of whatever. Mark, thank you Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being an amazing artist. Thank you for
Oh,
inspiring us.
oh,
Thank you for being our unsung hero. Really, you are amazing,
oh.
and we are so lucky to have you in this industry and have your stories take us to places that we never could have imagined ourselves. So thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you to our audience for yes, thank you for to our audience for listening. And I absolutely did forget. Thank you, Kelly, for reminding me. Mark, this is Unsung Heroes. I forgot to ask you who your unsung hero is.
My unsung hero is a man by the name of Stephen Olds. If you
Okay.
want to look up his website, it's oldsdesigns.com.
Okay. How do you
Um,
spell Olds?
OLDS.
Okay. All right.
This gentleman is self taught. His design is ridiculous. He's, I mean, he's taught me so much about like when you're designing something, think about how it's going to function, how it would really function in real life so that it brings legitimacy to your design. If anybody remembers a groundbreaking game in the 90s called Abe's Odyssey, Steve was the brain behind that design of that game. And they're still replicating
Wow.
Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey to this day. I mean, there's a new version on the PlayStation. So it has a huge following. Um, and this gentleman, to me, I don't think he has gotten the um,
Recognition.
recognition he deserves. Because
Mm.
I mean, he's we like to say in the industry, he's a beast. He is ridiculous, and he's still
Wow.
doing this, you know, at almost 60 years old. I mean, he's in his
Have
50s.
you seen, as a gamer, Mark? You've seen No Man's Sky, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Do you see it? How heavily like that is influenced by Stephen Elves? Can you
Oh,
see?
yes. Yeah.
I literally clicked on the link as soon as I saw it, and then
He's
I'm just looking at it on the other screen. I'm like, it looks like No Man's Sky, but better.
oh, he's the way his mind works, the dude is like a genius. I mean, literally, he was like I, it's just I don't have the words to describe his artwork and his sensibility and what he thinks about when he's designing things. It blows my mind.
Wow.
But we're talking about somebody who studied under Sid Mead. Sid Mead took him under his wing because Sid Mead could see his talent. And this dude, like I said, he never went to college, never went to art school. He
Mm.
became an architect and worked at an architecture firm at the age of 16 after being a janitor working in this architectural studio.
Incredible.
He finally, they gave him the chance to actually do some architectural design work. And um, he transferred over into entertainment. And it's just like, really? Like, how do you do that?
Wow. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Wow.
he's
Okay. There are so many inspiring people that that you want to meet and you want to say, hey, thank you for making, life on this earth better. It's like, there's so many. But we do have to finish the show. We do have to end. So thank you again, Mark, for sharing all of your insights and for inspiring us. Truly, really. Thank you, Chris, for always being my co-host. You know I love you.
Thank you, Chris.
I mean, Mark, I think you're absolutely mind-blowingly talented, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with next. And as soon as Tink is out, I want to know about it.
Yes,
because I want it on my bookshelf.
And
right
you
now.
know, Mark, I have to say, I love your laugh. Your
Oh,
laugh
wow.
makes me think of, oh God, who is that actor? There's an actor that has a really.
Yeah, we can have a drink after the show, and you can figure out who that actor is.
All right.
But
So anyway, all of our audience, like, follow, subscribe, slightly press, slightly fondle. Where are we? We're here.
all those like, subscribe, and follow buttons like to be touched.
We like to be touched, yes. All of the buttons that you like to touch and that like to be touched. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful week. See you in 2 weeks. Don't forget, make the world a better place and go hug a hero.
Thank
Bye,
you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.